exotic world.
Hey there. And let's talk about socialism. I know, for some of you the word itself might conjure up images of like breadlines and authoritarian regimes. But what if I told you that our understanding of socialism is often shaped by misconceptions? In this video, we're diving deep into the lesser-known facts about socialism, the kind of stuff they don't teach you in your average history class. Buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey that might just turn your entire perspective on its head. By the end of this video, you might just find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about this often misunderstood ideology. Okay, let's kick things off with the word itself, socialism. It sounds pretty modern, right? But what if I told you that the term socialism actually first popped up in the early 1800s? The word emerged from intellectuals dissatisfied with the Industrial Revolution. They saw wealth inequality, horrific working conditions, and rampant poverty. These early socialists actively searched for alternatives to capitalism. They believed in a society where the means of production were owned by the people. So, we've established that the word socialism is a relatively recent invention. But what if I told you that the core concepts of socialism, ideas like communal ownership, social responsibility, and economic equality, have actually been around for centuries, even millennia? Let's hop in our time machine and journey back to the Andes Mountains, specifically the Inca Empire. This civilization, which thrived long before European colonizers arrived, had a fascinating system in place, one that, dare I say, had some strikingly socialist characteristics. The Inca didn't have a traditional market economy like the ones we're familiar with today. Instead, they operated on a system of mutual obligation and reciprocity, where everyone contributed to the collective good and resources were distributed based on need. Land, the foundation of their agricultural society, wasn't seen as a private commodity to be bought and sold. Instead, it was owned communally and allocated to families by the state. This ensured that everyone had access to the means of subsistence. The Inca also had this cool system called mitiar, which essentially meant turn or duty. It wasn't exactly forced labor, rather, it was a system of mandatory public service. Everyone, from farmers to artisans, was expected to contribute a portion of their labor to communal projects, like building roads, temples, or irrigation systems. Now, the Inca Empire wasn't a utopia by any stretch of the imagination. It had its share of social hierarchies and power imbalances, but their system of communal ownership, resource distribution, and collective labor offers a fascinating glimpse into how societies can function without relying solely on the principles of individual ownership and market competition. Chapter 3, From the Factory Floor to the Streets, Socialism and the Fight for Labor Rights. Fast forward to the 19th century, the era of the Industrial Revolution. As factories sprouted up and cities swelled with workers, a new social class emerged, the industrial proletariat. These men, women, and often children toiled long hours in dangerous conditions for meager wages, while factory owners amassed vast fortunes. It was in this crucible of exploitation and inequality that socialism found fertile ground. Socialist ideas resonated deeply with the working class, offering a vision of a world where their labor was valued, their voices were heard, and the wealth they created was distributed more equitably. Socialist thinkers and activists played a pivotal role in organizing labor movements that fought tirelessly for better working conditions, fair wages, and an end to child labor. They understood that the only way to challenge the power of the ruling class was through collective action, through the power of organized labor. Trade unions, often inspired by socialist principles, emerged as a powerful force for social change. They organized strikes, negotiated with employers, and lobbied governments for worker protections. The fight was long and arduous, marked by setbacks and victories, but it ultimately led to significant improvements in the lives of working people. The 8-hour workday, the weekend, safety regulations in factories, the abolition of child labor, these hard-won victories were, in many ways, a testament to the power of socialist ideas and the tireless efforts of labor movements. Chapter 4. Giants of Socialist Thought, the Minds that Shaped a Movement. All right, let's talk about some of the heavy hitters, the intellectual titans of the socialist movement, and no conversation about socialism would be complete without mentioning the OG himself, Karl Marx. Marx, along with his partner in crime, Friedrich Engels, penned the Communist Manifesto, a fiery critique of capitalism that shook the world. They argued that history was a story of class struggle, and that capitalism, with its inherent contradictions, was destined to be overthrown by the working class. Now Marx's ideas are complex, often debated and sometimes misused, but his analysis of capitalism's flaws and his call for a classless society have resonated with countless people across generations and continents. But Marx wasn't the only one with revolutionary ideas. Let's not forget Rosa Luxemburg, a Polish-German Marxist theorist and activist who fiercely criticized capitalism and authoritarianism. She believed in a more democratic form of socialism, one where power resided with the people, not a centralized state. Luxemburg argued passionately for mass movements, for the power of ordinary people to create change from the bottom up. Her writings and speeches inspired countless individuals to fight for social justice and economic equality. Chapter 5, Socialism in Action, a glimpse into the present. All right, let's bring things to the present day. Now, when people talk about socialism today, they're often referring to the policies of democratic socialist governments or movements. These folks aren't about seizing the means of production or overthrowing capitalism entirely. Instead, they advocate for using democratic processes to create a more just and equitable society. Think universal healthcare, free education, affordable housing, strong social safety nets. These are all examples of socialist policies that have been implemented in various forms around the world. Take Scandinavian countries like Denmark, Sweden and Norway. They're often cited as examples of democratic socialism in action. They have robust welfare states, high taxes and strong labour unions. But they also have thriving market economies. They've managed to strike a balance between capitalism and social welfare, creating societies with high levels of social mobility, happiness and overall well-being. Even in the United States, a country often associated with rugged individualism, socialist ideas have gained traction in recent years. The rise of politicians like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who advocate for policies like Medicare for all and a Green New Deal, demonstrates a growing appetite for democratic socialist solutions to address issues like income inequality, climate change and healthcare access. Although the conversation continues, unpacking socialism. So there you have it. We've journeyed through the history of socialism, from its surprising origins to its impact on labour movements, from the giants of socialist thought to its modern-day manifestations. As we've seen, socialism is not a monolithic ideology. It's a rich tapestry of ideas, movements and experiments, all striving for a more just and equitable world. It's about challenging the status quo, demanding better for working people, and envisioning a future where everyone has a fair shot at a good life. If you found this exploration of socialism intriguing, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and leave your thoughts in the comments below. And be on the lookout for our next video, where we'll be diving into another fascinating ideology that shaped our world, communism. Until then, keep those brains buzzing, my friends.